Well, students, good afternoon to all of you. Today we will discuss the exam preparation of B.Ed first semester. Okay, I hope you have given a first exam very well. So today we will discuss the second paper, psychological perspective in educations. Okay, guys. So as you know that first paper you have already given on 17th. This is your date sheet, and next paper is scheduled on 22nd. Right, guys? So directly I go to the last year paper. Okay, because you have seen that many of the questions are coming from the last year paper. Okay, when you will see the last year paper, even when you see the syllabus, so it is coming 8 or 9 questions. Okay, means your syllabus itself includes, when we have to make, so it will make 8 or 9 questions, right, guys? So first we understand the questions. Okay, then I explain every questions with you. So the first question came last time. uh, the question was, discuss nature and importance of educational psychology. Right, guys? So all of you know that these are the long questions, carry 10 marks each, right? uh, Out of 8 or 9 questions, you have to you have to write the 4 questions, and you have already got the sheets, answer sheets, 16 pages, right? So it is but natural for a 1 questions you have to write up to the 4 pages, then 4 into 4 है ना, 16 pages बनते हैं, right, guys? Up we have to understand. Okay, if first question comes, discuss nature and importance of educational psychology, right, guys? So you have to write in the 4 sheets. So first of all, you have to talk about 4 or 5 lines. You have to talk about educational psychology, right? What is educational psychology? So it is derived from the two word. It is made up of the two words, education plus psychology. Okay, what is the meaning of education? Education means all around development, right? And psychology is the science of behavior. So when we talk about the educational psychology means when we solve the educational problem psychologically, termed as educational psychology, right? When the applications of psychology applied to the education in order to solve educational problem called educational psychology, right, guys? So you have to understand here, education is a full of problems, है ना? There is a lot of problems, problems of the student part. Sometimes methods of the teacher is not good, huh? Sometimes there is a syllabus problem, sometimes there is a lot of problems. So we have to solve this problem psychologically, right? So when we apply the principle of psychology into the field of education in order to solve educational problem termed as educational psychology, you can give 1 or 2 definition, right, guys? Then you have to make the heading nature of educational psychology, right? So first point should be, educational psychology is a branch of a psychology, right? It is a applied science, right? So you have to talk about the nature and then importance of educational psychology. I have made a notes for you. After this slide, directly I go to the PDF file, right, where all the answers is given. So we discuss each and every answer one by one, right? So here we read the questions. Okay, what type of a questions came in the last year exam, right, guys? And second, explain the principles of a growth and development, right? So guys, already told you, huh? Growth and development topic is a very much important, right? Definitely one questions comes from growth and development. Okay, whether it will come principles of a growth and development, yeah, effect of a which factors affects the growth and development of the child, right? So sometimes difference, but difference between growth and development, it comes in the short notes, है ना? It is a very small principles, huh? There are a lot of principles, like 12-14 principles of growth and development. So we can guess that it can, long questions can come in your next exam, which is on 22nd. Sometimes questions come, which factors affects the growth and development of the child, right? So we'll explain in the PDF file. Okay, first we understand the question. I have told you always you have to understand the question, what the question is demanding. So according to that, you have to write. Okay. For example, abhi, just we discuss nature and importance of educational psychology. So we have to make in our mind, for example, okay, you give the answer of, first of all, you write educational psychology in 4 or 5 lines, right, guys? And then what you do, you define nature and characteristics of a psychology up to the 2 pages. Okay, right? And importance you define into the half pages. So you have to give equal distributions of each and everything, because to attempt the paper is also an art, right, guys? So here, when it is asked by the examiner in the question, you have to define nature, you have to define importance, and 2-3 things he is asking, but he is stressing on nature and importance. So nature and importance should be long, up to the 60%, 70%, in fact 75, 80%. You have to talk about nature and importance of education psychology, right? 10% you can talk about educational psychology, and last 10% I have already told you, you have to give conclusion, right? Next question has come, principles of a growth and development. So you can talk little bit about, in half page about growth and development. What is a growth and development? If you remember any of the definitions, you can write it, right, guys? But maximum 75-80% means up to the 3 pages, you have to talk about principles of growth and development, right? Third questions, we move to the third questions. First, here we are understanding what is the psychology behind the question, right? What the question is demanding, right? We have to understand, this is a very much important. So guys, when the question paper comes, give at least 5 minutes to your question paper. Don't start writing on the spot. Okay, first read your paper 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, right? Then guys, you have to select it, which questions you have to attempt. Sometimes kya hota hai, what happens, in the last paper, okay, many students called me and they told me that some of the student, few of the students, they opted the educational contributions of a Jiddu Krishnamurti, right? J Krishnamurti questions came na last time. So beta, you have a less material on the Jiddu Krishnamurti, you cannot expand. So attempt that questions which you can expand. Dekho, the more you will expand, the more number you will get. The less you will expand, you will get nothing, right? Because in B.Ed or M.Ed examinations, okay, you have to expand more and more. Guys, you are giving an online paper, you have the choice, only you have to write in the 4 pages. But, I have, taken around, 13, 14, 15 batches from last 15 years. Every time student, gave the, offline exam, okay, before the corona, okay, in a 3 hours, that they filled 36 pages in a 3 hours. So now you can think yourself, okay, make your mind. Don't think that it is a lengthy only 4 sheets of a one question, right? So next is describe characteristics of emotional and social development of adolescents, right? So here you can define about the adolescent, and Stanley Hall की जो definition थी, adolescent is a period of stress and storm, right? जरूर लिखना, okay? Stanley Hall ने क्या बोला था? Adolescent is a period of, it is the age of, it is a period of stress and storm, right? ये जो होती है, okay? Adolescent की age जो होती है, right? 13 to 19, right? Then you have to make heading of emotional development in adolescent. means characteristics of emotional development. Okay, means in the emotions of adolescents, what type of characteristics happens, when any boy and girl is in this stage of the adolescent. There is a lot of mood swingingness, है ना? There is a heightening of emotions, है ना? You have seen that adolescents sometime, they say that I'll finish this thing, है ना? Sometime they take the long target, है ना, without looking the practicality of that target, right? Sometime there is a lot of changes happening. Yeah, how it happens? It is due to the development of the hormones, right? So guys, this is a very important age. In this age, as a parents, as a teacher, we have to guide to our children. This is a stage, from there student can get success, student can go ahead, right? So you have to talk about emotional, then you have to talk about social development, right? 7-8 points you can talk about characteristics of a emotional development of adolescent, right? Then you can make the heading of characteristics of social development of adolescent, है ना? What type of a social developments आपने देखा होगा when boy or girl is in the age of adolescent, है ना? They start making the social contacts, huh? They start making the new friends, है ना? Social awareness, है ना? They take indulge their self in any of the party. On a negative side, है ना? They indulge in the negative things sometimes, है ना? There is a lot of you can say positive and negative, these type of a, when student is guided on this age, then he gets success in life also. And sometimes he is not guided well, so what happens? Okay, so he cannot get the success, and a lot of a problem he or she faces in the life, right? Next है देखो, similarly next फिर questions वहीं से आ गया. What are the roles of different cultures in development of adolescent, right? अब in this question you have to talk about what is the impact of culture, different kind of a culture on adolescent, right? So aapko that sometime when the any person has grown up in a particular kind of a culture, he makes belief system of that particular culture and other things, so it affects the cognitive level, physical level, on the student, right? So here you have to talk about different cultures, how impact on the development of adolescent. Okay, but out of a 4 you have to attempt 2 questions. Next section B, out of a 4 you attempt only 2 questions. Okay, so 2 questions you can attempt easily, right guys? So now we move on the section B. अब देखो section B के पहले first we read the 4 question, right? First question is explain inter and intra individual differences. Second है discuss Gardner theory of intelligence. Third क्या है? Describe process and factor affecting learning of an individual. Fourth क्या है? Discuss the educational implications of motivation. Okay, so guys, first you have to read the question, okay, in order to select which you have to attempt. Okay, I have told you 3 times, 4 times you have to see your question paper first. You have to tick marks, you have to see, but which thing you have to see? You have to see Kibi means you can expand this question. Okay, I ask from you. For example, these 4 question comes in section B. Which question you will attempt? According to me, I tell you, you should attempt 7th or 8th. Describe process and factors affecting a word affecting. Okay, E हो सकता है by mistake it is written affecting learning of an individual. Okay, अब देखो it is a very simple and it is a very lengthy. हाँ, means you can make point by yourself also. Means आपको वो फैक्टर बताने हैं जो एक बच्चे की लर्निंग को इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं, right? So there are simple factors, maturation, age, personal factor, fatigue, है ना, mood. Sometimes he's in a good mood, है ना, he learns a lot of things. He's not in a good mood. So these are the simple one, right? Even you can, get all the points from the notes. And if, for example, some of the point you forget, so you can write yourself. And eighth one is discuss educational implications of a motivation. It is again a easy one, and you can stretch easily. You can write it as a general one. So here you have to talk about motivation. What is a motivation, and how the teacher inculcate the motivation among students. Educational implications of motivations. For example, what happens? Sometimes student chooses inter and intra individual differences, है ना, अपा उसकी भी बात कर लेते हैं. Okay, but what you will write in inter and intra individual differences? Okay, inter individual differences between the two person. This is called intra. This is called inter individual differences. When you talk about intra individual differences means the lot of differences between the person when he is assessed by different occasions. Okay, means inter means between the two person, or inter means there is a one person but there is a difference when he is observed at the different situation. For example, when we meet to someone, so we show that we are very polite, we are very educated, okay. So when in a home, we have a different kind of a behavior. So this is called intra individual differences. So I just want to tell you, like, you cannot write, it is up to the you cannot stretch it, okay, and you have to write the particular that thing which is asked by the examiner. So guys, you have the option, you have got the waiver of 50% by Punjab University Patiala. So select the question which you can expand it, right, which is easily stretchable. Okay, such kind of a question you can attempt it. Okay, and second, discuss Gardner's theory of a intelligence. Multiple intelligence, है ना, Gardner's theories of a multiple intelligence. So 8 points you have to discuss. Okay, अब देखो what will happen in Gardner's theory of intelligence. For example, you attempt, so you cannot write the point in your own way, Anna. You have to write all the 8 points which the Gardner has given in his theory, right? वो linguistic intelligence, musical intelligence, spatial intelligence, numerical intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence, and natural intelligence. And one is spatial, 8 type of intelligence. You have to define these 8 type of intelligence which was given by the Gardner. Okay, got it? If you have remembered, then you can write. Okay, but means if you have not confident, so you should select those questions which is easily you can stretch it, right guys? So we don't move on the C part, because C part, if we attempt all the 10 questions, then it makes a one question long. So I think there is no need na, out of 8 questions we will select. Okay guys, so now I show you, I have solved the last year questions for you. So we discuss. Okay, I open the PDF file. So I have opened this PDF file. So is it readable to all of you? Anyone can message. In fact, is it readable to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So guys, okay, on a first page, I have put your last year paper. Okay. So from morning whole of the time I made this for you. Okay, and this is the first questions. Okay, just see it. Okay, I size long. Okay, ye dekhiye, discuss the nature and importance of educational psychology. Right, answer is, first you have to define about the education psychology. I've told you. Then you can define one and any of one definition. In fact, Skinner definition, if you define to it, it would be better. According to Skinner, education psychology is that branch of a psychology which deals with the teaching and learning. When the psychology is applied to the education, in order to solve the educational problems, right? Then nature and characteristics of education psychology. It is an applied branch. First of all, you have to write education psychology is a branch of a psychology and it is the applied branch. Okay, what it does, what are the functions of this? Okay, so you have to define nature and characteristics. Okay, then importance. Ana examiner asked the importance na, importance of educational psychology, right? So ये देखो at least 1 or 1.5 pages you have to talk about importance of educational psychology, right? क्या क्या करती है, because I'm not discussing, because we have discussed many times in our previous classes, right guys? Now it is on your part, you have to learn it, right? So in fact up to the half pages, okay, you can write the importance and scope, है ना? Importance and scope भी वही है, human behavior, the learner, the learning experience, heredity, environment, personality and individual differences, intelligence and measurement, guidance and counseling. Okay, and ये देखो, this is the conclusion is must. तो यहाँ पे conclusion जरूर निकालना है आपने, right? In every question, last at least spare 5 or 6 line for the conclusion. Okay, I have used the word thus, thus the subject of educational psychology. Okay, you can write in conclusion, to conclude that, we can say that, so conclusion means whatever you have written above the, तो उसमें से वो point लेके you can write, right? अब next question था हमारा, discuss the principles of growth and development. हाँ, right guys? तो ये देखो, ये growth and development के बारे में, what is a growth and development, you know that, है ना? Growth and development, growth means physical changes, and development is a lifelong process. Growth stops at a certain point, certain time, right? Growth means growth हो रही है आपका, आपके size की, आपके weight की, okay, but वो सारी उम्र तो नहीं size आपका बढ़ता रहता है ना? It comes on a particular point, 6 feet, 7 feet, 6.5 feet, then it stops, right? But development is a cognitive aspect. Development goes on, it starts from birth and ends in the it goes up to the death, right? It starts from the cradle and ends in a grave. Okay, birth to death, womb to tomb. Okay, right guys? It is a development. But here you don't have to define what is the difference between growth and development, because examiner has asked the question, principles of growth and development, right guys? A little bit you can define growth and development, then you can make the heading and you can define all the principles of growth and development, है ना? कि big principle of continuity means continuity है, right? Same growth and development इंडिया में भी हो रही है, अमेरिकन बच्चे हैं उनमें भी हो रही है, इंग्लैंड वाले भी हो रही है, कनाडा वाले भी हो रहे हैं, right? Right? Principle of interrelations, तो दोनों का there is a interrelations between, है ना? Growth भी हो रही है, development भी हो रही है, but in some cases sometime growth stops, है ना? आपने देखा होगा जिनका size कम रह जाता है, weight है ना कम, so but mostly they are interrelated. It is based upon the individual differences. Yes, okay, no doubt. Growth and development is a part of every child, but it depends upon the individual differences होते हैं, है ना? Some growth and development is a sequential, है ना? These are the very easy point. We have many times we have discussed. So in a long up to the 80-85% you have to talk about growth and development. और ये देखो in conclusion. Okay. Sometimes if I forget to, then you have to write. Okay, you have to keep in mind in last 4 or 5 lines you have to even make the heading of conclusion, huh? When your exams will go to check, okay, so definitely it counts, beta, right? So conclusions you can talk about, right? Okay, the third question was describe the characteristics of emotional and social development of social development in adolescent. Okay, so you can talk about first is adolescent. It is a transitional stage of a this है ना? It comes between childhood and adulthood, है ना? Childhood means before 13 childhood, और adulthood after 19 or 20 adulthood. तो वो बीच की एज है. 13 to 19, this is the age of a teen. Okay, when it is written post teen ना, 13 14 है ना, teen, it is a age of a adolescent. ये देखो, Stanley Hall has said that described this period as a period of a great strain and stress, storm and strife. And a lot of things are happening, in the mind of an adolescent. So then, then you have to talk about first of all emotional. Okay, make the heading of a emotional and social development. So first make the heading of a emotional development. अब क्या होती है, what happens, what are the emotional development in the age of a adolescent, है ना? You all have cross this age. तो क्या होता है, what happens, है ना? वही है same points, heightening of emotions, है ना? Sometime like love, anxiety, anger, है ना? मतलब heightening हो जाती है उसकी, right? Emotions की mood swings होते हैं, adolescent age में, sometime emotional unstable, हाँ, high hopes and desires, है ना? You have seen that, when adolescent age में, है ना, high hopes and desires without looking the practicality. Okay, we make our target sometimes so big, okay, and we cannot complete it because of the a lot of hormones development, lot of things are going on in the mind, right guys? So being more sensitive, है ना? Sometimes adolescent sensitive होता है, sense of belongingness कितनी होती है उनको, है ना? They care the another person, है ना, more, like they care, they take care of a neighbor, they take care of the friends, है ना? They are very loyal to the group, है ना? In this age, sense of belongingness. Expressing emotion, they express the emotion easily, है ना? Whenever they fall in love, they fall in friendship, they fall in any of the activity, है ना? They say to the other persons, okay, expressing emotions. Irrational thinking, sometimes वो ना irrational thinking भी आ जाती है, this is in a negative sense, right? Changing in attitude, interest and interpersonal relationship and common emotional. Then you have to talk about social development of adolescent. Social development क्या होती है during that age? So adolescent starts building relation, है ना? Adolescent start taking interest in a different religion, different parties, he start making the group and other, sexual maturity, है ना, आ जाती है, तो he becomes uh, uh, seeking social approval, है ना? When he always expect other person, he should give respect to him or her, seeking social approval. Spirit of a selfless service, okay, group loyalty, searching for identity, है ना? वो अपनी आइडेंटिटी बनाने में रहते हैं कि मैं कुछ हूं भी, हाँ. So peer pressure sometime, है ना, lot of pressure of a friends, with the help of a friends, looking for new experience, thinking more about right and wrong. Okay, then you have to talk about conclusions, right guys? Adolescent is a period of life known for formation of a personal and social identity. Changes in adolescent period influence the way in which adolescent experience emotions, typically making them more emotional and more sensitive to stress. Okay, you can define in your way, whatever you have written above, right? Next questions है role of a different cultures in development of adolescent. तो यहाँ पे आपने वो culture की बात करनी है. At least 2 questions has come from the same topic. ये देखिए different cultures का effect क्या है, physical development, हाँ, then उसके बाद cognitive development. Cognitive means intellectual development, right guys? And third, I have made the point of social, economic, emotional development. Okay, ये 3 things you have to write under this cultural का role in in the development of adolescent, right? Okay, next ये देखो, explain inter and intra individual differences. Although I have explained, but I tell you, okay, explain such type of equations to which you can expand it, right? Inter and individual, okay. So I've explained inter and individual differences, or what are the causes of individual differences. What are the causes? Heredity, definitely, na, right? No 2 persons are unique, na? Even the this is called जुड़वा बच्चे भी होते हैं, twins भी होते हैं. Even the twins has different kind of taste, different kind of attitude, aptitude, right? So, but what are the causes of individual differences? Heredity plays an important role, okay. Environment, okay. Sex, age, education, what type of education the person has got, whether he has got from which board, which type of a nourishment, self, culture, abnormality. Then you have to talk about educational implications of individual differences, okay. वो क्या क्या होंगे, मतलब with the help of education, okay, how the educations helps for a different kind of a persons having the different attitude, interest. So these 4 points you can explain under the inter and intra individual differences. Okay. Sixth question is a discuss Gardner theory of a multiple intelligence. It is called the Gardner theory of multiple intelligence. Intelligence, you know that na intelligence सबसे पहले वो theory दी थी. He talks about the two things, G factor and S factor. Na, it was given by the person Spearman, I think, right? But Gardner has said that there are a lot of factors of a intelligence. You cannot say that key only is a G factor and S factor is responsible for the intelligence, but different kind of a intelligence persons have. Okay, for example, one person has a musical intelligence. He can dance well by the other person. If one person has the numerical intelligence, so he would be good in mathematics than other. So different kind of intelligence different persons have. So here you have to define all the 8 types of Gardner multiple intelligence. Okay, right? Visual spatial intelligence, like, okay, then linguistic verbal intelligence. Okay, those who they are good in linguistic. Okay, so they can become the writer, lawyer, teachers. Okay, and first was the visual spatial intelligence. Visual spatial hoti hai judgment of the mind, visualize the thing. Some persons visualize the thing. Okay, if they have such kind of intelligence, architect has such kind of intelligence, artist, engineer, right? If you have a logical mathematical intelligence, if any of the person, okay, so he can make the career. So साथ में you have to write about the strength, characteristics, and potential careers. He can go into the scientist field, mathematics, computer programmer, engineers, accountant. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, right? About the body movements. Some they move their body so well by the other, so they can go into the field of a dancer, builder, sculpture, actor. Right, guys? So तभी तो बोलते हैं there is a need of a career counseling. Okay, just to see that, okay, what type of abilities your child has, okay, yeah, or your student has, right? Musical intelligence, okay, interpersonal intelligence, similarly intrapersonal intelligence and naturalistic intelligence, right? So you have to define all the 8 intelligence and then you have to talk about conclusion. Okay, second last question was discuss process and factors affecting learning of an individual. All right, so you have to talk about learning. Learning is the modifications of a behavior through experience and training. Okay, means being of a teacher, you are teaching to the student. If you are teaching to the student, so there should be a learning. Learning means modifications of a behavior, right? So next you have to make a heading. What are the factors that affect the learning of an individual? So some are personal factor. Personal factor may you can talk about the physical and mental health. It depends upon, it influences the learning. Basic potentials of the learner, level of aspirations and achievement motivation, the goal of life, readiness and willpower. Once you are ready to learn, you learn a lot of things. Once you are not ready, so up to 4 hours you cannot get anything. Environmental factors. Environmental factor also influences the learning, right, guys? Teacher related factor, for example, knowledge of the subject. Sometimes, guys, if the teacher don't have the knowledge of the subject, due to the teacher knowledge, due to the teacher's lack of knowledge, due to the teacher's lack of methods of teaching, students become weak. Okay, research says that if students are weak, if they are weak due to the due to the teachers. Okay, because teacher doesn't know how to teach, he has become a teacher and he is teaching in the class, right? Lack of knowledge, method of teaching, right? Understanding the subject. Subject means child. If he doesn't have the knowledge to understand the child and he has become, or she has become the teacher, okay, so students are weak. The result would be students would be weak, right? So sometimes the method of the teaching, sometimes the style of the teaching, okay, student becomes weak. Teacher's behavior, sometimes behavior of the teacher, okay, student don't take interest in particular subject. Think about that. Okay, which was your favorite subject when you were child? Okay, sometimes they say that my favorite subject was mathematics. Some says that my favorite subject was English. Some say that science, Hindi, English. But why you thought that why these were your favorite subjects? Actually, subject was not favorite. Actually, your teacher was favorite. That's why these subject became your favorite subject. Okay, so behavior of the teacher counts a lot of things, right, guys? Personality. Okay, ये सारे teacher related factor है. Class management and control, content related factors. Huh? So either you can make like bullets, you can go one by one, you can write in in a flow, na, right? Okay, without making the heading. But if you make the heading, so it looks nice and get the good marks. So these all are the factors that are affects the individual's learning. Okay. The last question was discuss the educational implications of motivation. Okay, here you have to talk about the how the teacher inculcate the motivation among the students. Okay, guys, don't think that this is your syllabus, you have to finish your syllabus, and due to your lot of effort, right, you have given a knowledge to the student. Okay, don't think that. This is a misconception. Okay, student learns their own way, students learn their own pace. You cannot increase the intelligence of student, remember. But what is your role as a teacher? Your role as a teacher, you have to arouse the learning power of the student. You have to become a good motivator. You have to become a good stimulator, right? You have to appreciate your child, right? With your teaching skills, you have to stimulate the learning power of the student. Okay, they will learn by themselves. Okay, content knowledge plays an role, but not all the role. Okay, maximum role is played by your attitude. Maximum role is played by your style of teaching. Maximum role is played by how you motivate your child. Okay, in the teaching learning process. Remember, not that कि भी मुझे इंग्लिश आती है तो मैं बेटर हूं. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं होता, right? So what is the motivations? You have to talk about the motivations. You have to encourage the students, right? Skinner has, you can give the one or two definition of Skinner या Woodworth. Okay, then the motivation, right? Then educational implications of a motivation, right? What is the educational implications of motivation? Means how the teachers can inculcate the motivations among the students, give students a sense of control, be clear about learning objectives, बताओ उसको बच्चे को, create a threat free environment, right? Democratic, in your class there should be democratic environment. Okay, give every persons to speak fully and freely. Change your scenery. A classroom is a great place for learning, but sitting at a desk day in a day out can make school start to seem a bit dull for some student. To renew interest in the subject matter or just in a learning general, give your student a chance to get out of the classroom. Take field trips, bring in speakers. This is the brain loves novelty and new settings. Okay, change your scenery. Change your scenery means, okay, don't give same kind of a stereotype of a teaching. Okay, every day you come in the class and you start giving the teaching. Sometime, okay, take the students in the field trip. Okay, start debating and start participate in different things. Okay, so such kind of activity you should perform. Okay, this is not a one type of activity only. You have to finish your syllabus. There is a lot of activities. Okay, so from that you can motivate your child, you can motivate your students. Offer varied experiences, as the name suggested, varied experiences. Use positive competition, offer rewards, give students responsibility, allow students to work together, Give praise when earned. Okay, give the praise to your student, right? Encourage self reflections. Know your student. It's the most important point. Know your student. Okay, when you are teaching, you will become a teacher after the B.Ed. When you will go to in the class. So guys, if you are teaching to a 30 students, so 30 students, that should be in your mind. Means, what is the knowledge of 30 students? What is the philosophy of 30 students? What is the psychology of 30 students? Know your student first. Okay. When you become a teacher, these are the, you can say, points which makes you a effective teacher, right? Always remember, a teacher only teach. A good teacher, teaching with the help of some aids, but the great teacher not teaching but inspire the student how to learn. There is a Chinese proverb now, right? So if you have to become a good teacher, great teacher, effective teacher, so not only teaching, you have to inspire the student how to learn, right? Feedback, right? Acha, okay, और भी points हैं. The teacher should also provide plan for activity when dealing with students. Okay, so in conclusions, okay, last. So I've written, 14 or 15 points. You can end up with 12 points also. Okay, these are sufficient, right? And then last, you have to give the conclusion as I have told you, right, guys? So I have explained, last year question paper. Even I have solved the last year questions paper for you, right, guys? So you can get idea from that. Okay, if such kind of a questions comes, related questions comes, okay, which you have to write. Okay, guys. So this is your, all the questions. Section B, that was the, okay, discuss the educational implications of motivations, right, guys? So thank you so much, guys. Best wishes for your next paper, which is on 22nd. Thank you so much.